Coming to you from Thomson High School, this is the Bulldog Breakdown. Join us as we discuss scores and stats, as well as all the X's and O's of Thomson athletics directly with the coaches themselves.
Hello and welcome. My name is Wyatt Lowe. I'm a junior at Thomson High School. This is my co-host Bill Beckham and of course YB. This is the Bulldog Breakdown and this is going to be our first episode.
Coach Youngblood, we want to thank you for being here. I believe this is your 9th year here in Thomson?
Yes, 9th season. Longest tenured head football coach since the great Luther Welsh.
All right, so Coach, with our first question, we're gonna start it off with an easy one. We're going to talk about last year. We won region, we won 9 games, we went to the Elite 8. What was that like?
Well, it started off kind of rough. You know, you lose to a good North Augusta team, and then you had a couple of blunders where we had some guys that we had to kind of get them on the same page as us as coaches. So we dropped one to Grovetown, and then we dropped one to Swainsboro. And I told them after the Swainsboro game, look guys, if we continuously do it your way, it's not going to work. And we ended up finishing the season 7-3 as region champs and had an opportunity to win 2 more football games in the playoffs, which I thought we had kind of maximized our potential when it came to that. And then in the 3rd round, we lost to the eventual state champions, which was Carver Columbus. So overall, you always mark a good football program by making it at least to the Elite 8, and if you can make it there, you know, you run into some teams sometimes that they don't have very many weaknesses, and we had a few. And the biggest thing is, did you get everything out of your kids? And I felt like we got everything out of our kids, we got everything out of our coaching staff. So to finish in the Elite 8, I was very proud of our football team and our coaching staff for putting it together.
Coach, we had the scrimmage scheduled for last Friday, and that was canceled due to the weather, I guess lightning, and I guess a good many of them were canceled. But how did that affect you? So we've had no scrimmage or anything. We're getting ready to start the season, but how does that affect your preparation for the first game without a scrimmage at all?
Well, the biggest thing is you kind of want to see some of those new guys that you have in certain positions to see how they're going to react with Friday nights being in the starting role for the first time, and kind of get a gauge on what you need to do and how you need to help them throughout the course of the game. But I want to say over the last 5 or 6 years, pretty much game 1 or a scrimmage game has been canceled because of the weather or things. So you kind of just go back in your Rolodex a little bit and kind of find some things that you can do to help better prepare the kids to get ready. Of course, you want to see them in live game action, but that just didn't happen on Friday night. So one of the things, you know, with the temperature right now being 110 heat index, yesterday it was like 102 and supposed to be like 100 today. What we've done is we let the kids go home after school, and once they go home, we bring them back up about 6 o'clock, try to get on the field around 6:30. That's closer to game time to kind of get them acclimated to the afternoon heat at that moment in time, and just try to get them as acclimated to closest to a game as possible. You still run your practices the normal way because you don't have to worry about the wet bulb, because right now when we walked out yesterday at about 3:30, the wet bulb was at about 95, so you're not even supposed to go outside. But you always ask the question of, when the wet bulb is that high and you're getting ready to play a football game, what do? You know, they have parameters where you can't practice in this weather, but when it's time to play a game, they expect you to play in it. And so it's a little bit different when we were coming up and playing football as until now with all the safety measures with heat. So you just try to be very, very smart with it. Make sure they have plenty of hydration breaks. Make sure that you're getting them a little acclimated And it's a fine line that you have to be very careful with. And you got to have your coaches watching the kids. If you see a kid struggling, pull them out of the drill, kind of pull it to the side, get Miss Dybel to double check on some things. If they start cramping up, one of the biggest things is you dump those water coolers into a big tub and submerge them to cool them down and different things. So we already have a plan in place for everything, just in case we have a kid that start having some type of heat issue. And we just go over that at the beginning of the year and make sure our coaches and trainers and everybody on the same page, just in case we ever have to cross that bridge.
All right, so the next question is, with us moving up into 3A and our new region, it's not the same old region we're used to. What's that like?
Well, you have Washington County, who we played since I've been here before. Westside's back in the region again, who we've played before, and Helpsville's back in the region, who we've played before. So we have some familiar foes that we have already went against before since I've been here. So it's not really nothing new. It's just, the rest of the state of Georgia that has teams that are going to be in AAA, and you can't really worry about that. Only thing you can worry about is the games that we have scheduled. Take care of your region, and then let the rest of the chips fall where they need to.
All right, Coach, your first game is this week against a team that I have heard of. I've never actually seen, from up in Athens, Prince Avenue Christian. And what do you expect, or what do you know about them?
Well, Coach Rick is the coach now out there. They had a guy before him that probably has won about 3 or 4 state titles at Prince Avenue. So they're known for winning. They have a winning tradition and a winning program, and have reeled off a couple of state titles here previously before Coach Rick took over. And one of the biggest things is when you're getting ready to schedule games, you're trying to find great competition, but also, especially with how they're doing the power rankings, so you got to find someone who you can compete against, but also you're trying to prepare yourself for the region and prepare yourself for the state playoffs. And we just felt like Coach Rick, we kind of got in touch with each other, and we didn't know if we were going to play home and away. And I just told him, if you're willing to play me, I'll come to you the first game. I just want to go ahead and get that locked in, because we don't have many teams that want to play us right now. And one of the biggest things that you're impressed with them with is they're a very well coached football team. They have a really good program, and the kids kind of do what they're supposed to do. And you want to put your kids in that type of environment to kind of show them early on, this is some of the things that we're going to have to compete on later on down the road within region play and within the state playoffs. You're going to have to deal with well-disciplined football teams, well-coached football teams, and that's one of the things that you try to do, is go back after the game is over and kind of say, all right, we know this is a good program. What are we doing right, and then what are we doing wrong, and where can we make our leaps and bounds to get better during the course of the year? And so that game one is always kind of that measuring stick of what you got to go back and work with your kids on and work with your coaches on to get you where you need to be at when it's time to play for a region title or go make a playoff run.
All right. Thanks, YB, for always stopping by. I want to thank my co-host for being here, and as always, go Dogs. This was episode 1.
Go Dogs.